So, on the subject of breadcrumbs, sometimes you can say, well, I don't want to look back because I'm not in a good place where I'm at right now. How looking back, how is that going to help me see how I was on my way where I am? Well, you can ask for the negative things too. You can ask for the bad things too. I'm going to give you an example of a bad thing that I asked for. I was, that young girl who thought partying with another couple would be great. And we went and we partied, and then, I don't know, somebody rented a hotel room, and we were all going to just party, right? Well, that party turned into actually a car chase where we almost died because I don't know why the other guy, not even my boyfriend, the other guy instigated something with another vehicle, and they set chase on us, and it was a high speed chase that, it was in a movie. It was like, turn left, turn right, whatever. It was like, I was in the back seat getting tossed around, whatever. And we we ended up turning into a cul-de-sac. And we got cornered by this other vehicle. We but the driver, the guy kind of the subject of this story, the one who was not my, he decided he's going to jump the curb and run across somebody's lawn to get out because this other vehicle was blocking us and had already gotten out of the vehicle. And I want to say they had bats. They had something that they were doing. I mean, it was like something straight out of a movie. It was literally something straight out of a movie. They were coming from their vehicle, slapping something in their hands. It was definitely something out of a movie. So the guy driving, whose name is going to get revealed, so I might as well just say his name, Alex, decides he's going to hop the curb and go through these people's yard to escape these guys who clearly are going to mean us no good. He hops the curb and blows the tire. Again, something right out of a movie. And even what happens next could be considered something right out of a movie. Because lights started getting flipped on in all these houses because there's a commotion in their cul-de-sac. The guys that are now thinking about attacking us, and here we are completely disabled now. Our car is unable to be rolled out of here no matter how we try. Because of the potential police activity that was certainly going to ensue, these guys actually helped us change the tire. There was this high-speed chase went on, I'm going to say at least 20 minutes, probably, shorter or longer, whatever. I can think of 20 minutes worth at least of this high-speed chase through neighborhoods and, running stop signs. And, we were like oh my God. So, anyway, afterwards, we ended up, I have no idea how that got started. Like, I have no idea if it was like a road rage thing, or if it was, I don't remember the before. So I don't remember if we were at a party and these are guys that they pissed off. I don't remember the before, any of it. I don't remember any of the before. So I can't tell you how this road chase got started. I can tell you I remember the road chase, though. So then, somehow, we all went our separate ways. No police. We all just, changed the tire and left. Left almost like shaking hands. It was really weird. So it was almost like we had to have known them, or he had to have known them. I don't know the story there, other than what happened. So then we're back at the hotel room that had been renting for the partying, and I remember the first time I ever saw, they were playing MTV. And this is how weird, like, you can remember things so specific. I remember the first time I ever saw the Paula Abdul video where she dances with like Disney characters or something. Remember the name? I would love to say there's like a little bit of rap in the middle of it, but I can't remember any of the words, so I'd make an ass out of myself right now trying to sing her song. But if you know Paula Abdul, you probably know what song I'm talking about. You probably know even what video I'm talking about. So the first time I ever heard or saw that video, right? Heard the song, saw the video. Now now the song's playing in my head. Like if I could just come up with one verse, you guys will know what I'm talking about. So I don't know how the fight with the guy and the girl started, but this guy, Alex, and his girlfriend got into it, which turned into a drunken beatdown from him to her. And my brain blamed her. My brain kept telling me how cute he was. Not what he was doing was cute, but how cute he was. Like he was an attractive guy. So my brain just kept saying, I'm not seeing this, right? And then somehow my brain even must have told me that I wouldn't be a girl he needed to beat up. I could date him. He wouldn't need to beat me up. Like this wouldn't happen. Like I didn't really think of him as being a woman abuser, I think. I just saw this as an isolated thing and I felt like she deserved it. Trust me, I don't believe women deserve to be beat up by a man. Ever, ever, ever. Trust me. I'm just explaining how this breadcrumb came into my life. Fast forward, I somehow break up with my boyfriend. He breaks up with her. She breaks up with him, I hope. And he and I somehow get connected. Don't know how that happened either. Like a lot of details get lost in our lives. And it's funny how when you really think back, like how something can have such a huge impact on you. But if you stopped and tried to actually remember the details, you remember the details of the exact 30-second experience, but you don't remember any of the surrounding details. And yet it's such a big thing in your life. Like I don't remember how we got in a road rage thing with this guy, with these guys in this other truck. But I remember the high speed chase. I remember jumping the curb. I remember the flat tire. I remember them helping us. I remember them coming at us with bats or whatever they had. I remember us freaking out. I remember the flat tire. I remember them helping. Like I remember that. But that was like, 20 minutes of this whole experience. And yet it's like, I remember it. But when I try to sit and remember the details, like how did we get in this squabble with these people? How did we know these people? How did we leave? Like, did we shake hands? Did we just all get in our cars? I don't remember any of that. I don't remember how he and I ended up meeting up and becoming a couple. But there was a party at my house. I lived with some former coworkers. They weren't my coworkers anymore. A guy named Kyle, he owned the house, or his parents owned the house, and he rented it to myself and 3 other guys, I think, or it might have been myself and 2 other guys. I think I either had 3 male roommates or 4 male roommates. I don't remember. I think there was a 4th guy. Again, I remember living there. I don't remember much of it. But I remember a specific experience that happened there. There's other things I remember. I remember, my dog. I remember my bird. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you remember as if it's a collective memory, but it's not. Like, there's a lot of it I don't remember. I don't even remember, like, specifically where the stairs were when you walk through the door, or where the front door was in relation to where the stairs were to get me to my room. I remember that he blasted a Peter Gabriel song every morning as a weird thing. Like, I remember that, right? So anyway, a bachelor party takes place, and I, being the only female, say, you're not running me out of the house. I'll stay in my room, whatever, but you're not running me out of the house. Like, I'm not going to be told I can't be in my house or the place that I rent. Alex comes over because, of course, now that sounds like fun for him, right? I got curious about kind of like what strippers do, kind of for this kind of thing, and ladies, you don't want to know. And Alex drank a lot more than I was used to. I remember he came with a bottle. I remember he actually had his own bottle. So he was drinking hard stuff. I don't know what he was drinking, but he had his own bottle. I remember that. I remember probably, I mean, look, I was 18, 19 years old. I remember going up with a couple of the guys to Kyle's room, smoke a joint. I was 18, a lot of years ago. Condemn me, please. But Alex did not come with us. I don't know how long we were up there. I don't know what made Alex come look for me, whatever. But he came in and he was like enraged at the idea that I was up there with these guys. And I don't know what he thought I was doing. I don't know if he had a problem with me smoking a joint, whatever. I don't know what his problem was, if he thought I was acting out my own stripper thing or not. I mean, I'm fully clothed, but you don't know. I don't know. So he loses it. And this is the first time he's ever touched me, but he loses it. And he grabbed me. I'm going to say he was standing here. I was standing here because I think he came at me, grabbed me by the throat, picked me up, and slammed me against a closet door and held me with my feet off the ground, held me up. Another like right out of the movies, right? Luckily, I was with those guys. They all took care of that situation. They got him downstairs. They wrestled up all the other guys. The stripper must have left because there's no way this was going to turn into a leave the stripper behind thing. But the other guys all decided, yeah, they wanted to be a part of this. And I'm told, okay, I was not witness to anything. I'm told they beat the crap out of him and dumped him on his front doorstep. I never saw him again, but he did leave me a threatening little like post-it note on my car with like a smiley face once, because I think that was something that we had done where he would come through the neighborhood and, you know, leave a little smiley face on my car, and it was a cute little thing that we did, I guess. And then this time it was more threatening. So that was a time in my life that I would want to say, I wish I can't see how I might have ordered that. You know, like I think of our lives as something that we order. Like we look at something and say, oh, wouldn't that be cool if I could do that? Or wouldn't that be nice to have that? Or wouldn't that be, or even in this case, like I wouldn't, you know, I would be the better version. He wouldn't need to do that to me, right? Like I feel like I placed an order to be in that position. And I want to just kind of point out that, yeah, like we create our future, even the bad stuff. And now if you can like stop and say, okay, so what did like, especially if you're living in a bad thing, like something you don't want to be living in, what about this did I possibly say I wanted? Right? If you're a drug addict, is it possible that you had said to yourself, I'm better than that. I won't get addicted if I try that? Did you somehow convince yourself that trying a drug wouldn't get you? Then you ordered the experience, as far as I'm concerned. You ordered the opportunity to prove to yourself you were wrong, right? If you're an addict, if you know, if you got in heavy debt or something, did you at one point like look down on somebody who is in debt and think it wouldn't happen to you? Sometimes even saying like that won't happen to me is asking for the opportunity to have the experience. I really believe that. So when I say go back and look at your breadcrumbs, you can look at your breadcrumbs now and say, in a place in your life that you're not happy. Now, just remember, these are all stops. They're not stays. You are not going to stay where you are unless you keep piling on more breadcrumbs to say, I'd like to try to be more like this forever and ever and ever. Yeah, you could keep yourself someplace that seems stagnant based on all the things that you kept saying that you wanted to, but if you could stop and say, I'm a volunteer somewhere because I thought to myself, wouldn't it be nice if I could share some of my sense of humor with people who are sad? You brought yourself that experience. Now you're volunteering at a nursing home or something like that. And that's something that you saw yourself doing through wondering if your sense of humor could help somebody that maybe is lonely. Um, that's how you can kind of change the path that you're going to leave your breadcrumbs on and get out of where you are. Like, start thinking about those kinds of things. Like, you don't have to even take action, to be honest with you. You could just think those things, and gradually you'll find yourself being presented with those opportunities. You'll meet somebody who does volunteer at a nursing home, or you'll have an opportunity to make a delivery as a delivery person to a nursing home, and you'll see somebody that you happen to just tell a joke to as you're on your way back out. You'll find opportunities will happen for you. You don't even have to say, okay, so now I decided I'm going to go to nursing homes and I'm going to make people laugh. You don't have to set out to do that. You're just going to find opportunities. They're just going to be put in front of you. Now it's a matter of you seeing them. And one of the things that I had decided, I used to play this game, I called it my living hidden picture game. Like, if you ever remember, in the dentist's office, the highlights magazine, and if you flip to a certain page, there's a picture that has hidden things in it, like a carrot and a fork and whatever, and you're supposed to circle the different things that you're finding hidden in the picture. Well, I kind of play that game with myself. As I drive during the day, I'm like, you know what? I'd like to see a ladder leaning against a tree. Now, I used to think, the whole woo-woo universal thing, oh, the universe is going to now put those things there for me to see. No. Now I believe that those things already are there, but we are programming our brain to isolate that image and find that image for us. So I consider it like a facial recognition program. If you've ever watched a TV show that is like a detective TV show, and they're reviewing a video of a crowd, and they put in this facial recognition program, and you watch this little pencil line circle go across all the faces because they're trying to determine if they can find that person in the crowd. And this program does that for them. I think our brains are like that. I think our brains are designed to take in all detail that we tell it to take in. But our brains are also designed to tunnel vision away from every detail so we can survive. Because otherwise, could you imagine how overwhelmed you'd be if you're like, oh, every nook and cranny in this piece of wood, I'm supposed to see it, it's just a piece of wood. But if I said, how about I want to see the knots? I want to see a cool looking knot in the wood, right? It may not be this piece of wood, but I may be in another stall in a little while and be like, holy crap, and just be drawn to a really cool knot, right? Because now I've just told my brain, I think that would be interesting. That's important to me. So I changed it from let the universe show you the ladder on the tree. No, let my recognition program that I just told my brain a ladder leaning against a tree would be important to me. Everybody's had this experience when you've thought to buy something specific. So I'm going to say a charcoal gray Honda Pilot truck, right? I don't know why that always comes to my mind when I think of this example, but you may never have seen one before or thought you've ever seen one before, because cars are cars on the road. So kind of like the knot in the wood, it's a detail in the wood. But now that you've told your brain, you're interested not only in that particular type of vehicle, you're interested in that color vehicle. Now all of a sudden you see them everywhere. Your brain has now said, duly noted, I will look for all of those for you. And next thing you know, there's one at the stop sign next to you. There's one over at the gas station getting gas. There's one, dropping a kid off at the school. Like all of a sudden you see them everywhere. It's not like the universe just said, here, let me put one here for you and I'm going to put one here for you. No, your brain is now hyper alert to something that you told your brain is important to you. That's a fun game to play. It's really a fun game to play. Now, it's a more fun game to play like on a road trip because I'm in a vehicle all day long, so it's easy for me to play that game. But I don't know that it's easy for other people to play that game if your commute's only 10 minutes. Especially if you do the same 10 minutes or whatever. But I found that I actually see things in people's yards and I'm like, holy crap, like people decorate. Like I didn't know people thought a fire hydrant was a decor. But how many people have fire hydrants as like decorations in their front yards? It's interesting to me to see like how I'm more hyper aware of the way people display who they are in their front yards just by playing this game. So playing games with your mind and then also seeing how you order things up for yourself. Stop and see, even if you're hating where you're at in your life, how did you possibly order that? And then how can you change your next order, right? Like, I think we're all traveling on a path that we're kind of supposed to travel on, but it doesn't mean that we always have to stop and smell the poison ivy, right? We can keep going. We can look back and see, oh, yep, got poison ivy that time, but still, you can and try to look back even on those moments. Like, hey, there was a time where I did have a really shitty, like I did that Alex story. There's another one, and it was worse. But I'm not going to share that one because that one was a life or death thing for me. But it'd be funny. But you can see where you're at. You can look back and go, yeah, that was a bad time, and I'm not there anymore. One of the things I used to do to myself was I'd say, especially if I'm living something bad, is 2 weeks from now, that will be something I did. 2 weeks from now, that'll be over. Even if it's a doctor's appointment you're dreading. Like I've had doctor's appointments I've dreaded, and I'd be like, well, I need to know. So I have an appointment, and say it's on a Tuesday, and now it's the Wednesday before. I can tell myself 2 weeks from, or a week from today, I'll have been to the doctor and I'll know. 1 week from today, I'll have been there. It's not something that I'm still waiting and anticipating having to do. Now I'm thinking about a week from now, I'll have already been there. A week from now, I'll have more information. And that's what helps me get through those like stressful times, the stressful anticipation times. A week from now or 2 weeks from now, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm trying to think of ways to just like, if I can share anything that helps me and it helps you, then awesome. Like I'm not out here trying to like be anybody. Like I'm not trying to be Mel Robbins or whatever. I'm not trying to be anybody by any means. But I do know what helps me. And maybe if somebody had told me earlier in my life things that would help me, I can honestly say maybe not true. Maybe if you're not ready to listen to other people's ways that they navigate, maybe it wouldn't matter. Like I can say there have been times in my life where I'd be like, yeah, you and your woo-woo shit, I don't need to hear crap. There have been times I would have been extremely resistant. So, but if you're at a stage in your life where you're not extremely resistant, and what I have to say and how I've learned to kind of navigate is helpful to you, then I did something that I appreciate doing.